Ladies and gentlemen, this is a disclaimer that the content you are about to listen to could contain traumatic or emotional stories. If this brings up any emotions or traumatic events that you've experienced, please seek appropriate services if needed. As always, it is important that we remember that the guests are here to share with all of us, and we need to be empathetic and supportive to foster a community where individuals feel safe to share these types of stories. If you have an individual you would like to see on the show, please make sure to comment below, and I will see if they're interested. If you are someone interested in being on the show, please reach out and let's make it happen. I hope you enjoy the show.
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to Deep Dives into the Minds of Esports. My name is Blake Panashevitz, and today I have a wonderful guest on my show, a player previously from San Francisco Shock as well as Immortals. While on Immortals, he had multiple first-place finishes. Please let me introduce David Lizarraga Ramirez. David Osmar Lizarraga Ramirez, better known as Nomy. I got it. There's a lot of names.
Beautiful. That was beautiful, Blake. Thank you so much for the introduction. And hi, how are you guys doing? Thank you so much for having me today.
I'm so excited to have you on this show. I know that when I reached out to you, I told you that this was going to be a little bit different. We've already had some wonderful conversation that I feel people definitely missed out on.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. We'll see if we can get that going.
We'll see. So one of the cool things is that we kind of noticed there, that I noticed, is we're actually really close in age. You're 27 right now, I'm 26. We're both involved in esports. I think that's a good starting place because for a player, being 27 is definitely on the upper cusp of age groups.
Correct. I agree. I agree completely. And this is the way that I see it. Even though, I have this, 27 years of age, if I can prove to people that I can still perform at a really high level, then I just still want to be playing. I don't think I'm being limited by my age if I can still some way somehow prove to people that I can perform really well. And the way that I do it right now, at least, is even though I'm not in Shock anymore, I cannot play on stage anymore. But what I'm gonna do is I have been trying to stream at least every other day, and I can still grind the ladder. I can still show to people that I can climb the ladder by solo queuing and just someone 27 years old solo queuing tank and still achieving my main account is top 22 in NA, and I have a second account called Orchata, which yesterday I was 34 or something. I lost a couple of games because I got DC'd actually because there was a bug on the servers, so I lost 50 points, but I ended up with top 94 on Orchata. So if I'm able to still prove to people that I can perform well, then I might as well just keep on playing because I feel like it. I think it's weird at the age and everything, but I just feel confident with my play, I think.
So do you think that this idea that is kind of portrayed in esports that age is a limiting factor is false?
Honestly, I think it's false. It just depends on, I have been playing games since the beginning of time, so it's really built into me. I can play every game that I play really well at it. Being a MOBA, an FPS, strategy game, I can play a lot of games really well. So I think the age thing might be maybe people start when they're older, maybe it's difficult for them. But I have been playing since I was 4 years old or something on console and then PC, and then here I am now. So hopefully that answers your question.
Yeah, most certainly. I think it's weird with this culture that has been kind of portrayed that age is an issue, because if you say that age is an issue and you can only play so many years, then it actually doesn't allow you to implement long-term structural things into esports. So mental health is a really good example. Mental health, generally speaking, is kind of more of a long-term. I'm looking at the long haul, the longevity of this player. And if you're saying that a player is limited by age, then you're saying that we can't actually implement things that would help this player to improve and to grow.
Yeah, I think honestly, I do believe that the older I get, the worse I will play. I pretty much feel that. But the thing is, as long as I can see that my play is relevant and competitive, then I'm still gonna keep on grinding. I'm not gonna stop. So of course, maybe when I was 17 years old, I was insane. I'm sorry that I say that.
No, you can swear. This is you're free to be and swear whatever you want. I'm okay with that.
Yeah, when I was playing COD 2 back in the day, when I was that age, I was insane. Within the first 2 weeks, I was already in a team. I was being known on servers in COD 2. So of course my play was a lot better back then because you learn faster the younger you are, right? You learn way faster. But I, my saying is, as long as I can play well, as long as I can prove to people that I can compete well at a really high level, then I still want to play. I still want to compete, and some way somehow just like play in tournaments, be in a team environment, and yeah.
And being 27, you have lots of life experiences that you can probably draw upon in order to actually help out a team environment.
That is correct. I don't know if you have ever talked to any of my previous teammates, but they told me that I'm a very good teammate. I'm a really good person. Since I'm really old, like you said, I have a lot of experience on different things that kids that age they don't know exactly what's happening. Like I have gone to work. I have dealt with people, really bad people, really good people. So I know how to Uh, but when I see on my team that there's like a certain Uh, personality that is not like really common between people, then it's easier for me to like be able to handle it. Like because uh, I don't know how to explain it. Do you know that some players like they play really well, but
Hmm.
they have like this personality that maybe deteriorates the performance of the team. Maybe we have something that's really negative, but
Yeah.
he plays really well, right? He fucking pops out with a character, but he is really negative. When he dies, he's saying like bad things that are not helpful for the team, and he just doesn't. He's not that coachable of a person. Then maybe it is easier for me to deal with because I have dealt with people that have been like negative in the past and stuff like that. So I can have like a connection. I can have like an easier connection with that person because I know how to talk to people. That's like something that I have developed because of my age.
Yeah, I think that's a really good skill to have. Now, you were born in Tijuana.
That is correct.
Okay, so what was like growing up in Tijuana? The J's are a little hard for me to pronounce there.
I think in terms of like growing up, just going to school, living with my grandma,
You lived with your
stuff.
grandma.
Yeah, yeah. I live with my grandma. My grandma had like a very big house, and I was living there with my mom. When I was growing up, in general, my mom was really busy with work,
Hmm.
so I spent like the majority of my time with my grandma when I was growing up. So unfortunately, I didn't really grow up with someone like with my mom and my dad because they were always like away. I didn't have a dad just to begin with, right? My dad kind of like left us when I was like a couple months old, so I never had that. And my mom was really busy like during that the time of my life where I was like growing up.
Hmm.
So I think this is one of the main reasons why I kind of like deviate to video games because video games is something that you play for a little bit, you enjoy, and then you have fun, and then you forget about everything.
Yeah.
So I think that's one of the main reasons why, even though my mom didn't spend that much time with me growing up, like she did everything she could so that I can get like a really good education, and I was able to like learn English during my elementary period of my childhood.
Okay, so your dad left when you were only a couple months old.
Correct.
That sounds like
Yeah.
it was something that is incredibly hard. Did you ever find out the reason why he left?
I think he just wanted to like he wanted more money. He wanted to be on the US or something, and then maybe when he saw me, he panicked. He looked really happy on the pictures, bro.
Okay.
But then he just like panicked or something, and he just left. Like I have never talked to the guy. I have never seen him. Like I see him on the pictures, but I have never seen him like at this present time. You feel me? So it is hard. It is difficult, especially when you're young. But right now, like I just think about like, look at how many things I have achieved for my family without having that guy. So I'm like, I don't care about it anymore.
My mom actually my mom and dad split up when I was right around 6. Um, and I don't have very much contact with actually my mom very much anymore because
Got it,
of
got it.
different circumstances. But I did grow up with her. But did you have any resentment? Because I know that there was a long period where I had a significant amount of resentment where I was like, why did I not matter? Like,
I think more than anything, I don't really think about. I respect my mom so much for everything that she has made,
mhm,
and my family for everything that my family has made. My grandma, my uncle, my aunt, and my mom in general. That another person is like, it's fine, man. Like
okay,
there's gonna be my uncle in that case. Like even though he's not my dad, he was always doing stuff for us. He was always helping us, always like being like the father figure.
yeah.
I saw him as kind of like a father. Of course, he was working all the time, but I spent time with him, and it was good. It was good. It was nice. But yeah, resentment. I guess I felt a little bit, but it was like I have to move on. I cannot like just be thinking about this guy all the time because Think about it, it's not gonna get me somewhere better, you know. So it was like a, I don't know how to say it.
No, no, you realize that you had to move on because if you didn't move on, then you're holding yourself in the past.
Correct, yeah, pretty much.
Okay, that makes a lot of sense. So you said you grew up primarily with your grandma. Was your grandfather around, or did you?
Hmm. The my grandfather was around, but they were like split all the time. Like
Okay.
it was like a bad situation from the beginning. So I had good communication with both of them. But my grandfather left the house, and like a long time ago, I was really young when that happened. But I always had like good communication with him, if that makes sense. But I never saw them like as a family.
Okay.
They were always like splitting. My family's crazy, bro. Like there's always have been like problems with that shit. Like how old school families, like
Hmm.
how they like some kids that they have and they don't like the other kids. It's like some weird situation, man. It's like it's like a novel thing, dude. It's crazy.
Well, I mean, that's kind of the point of the show too, is to kind of let people know that this is something that happens to everyone, and
Yeah.
you need to work through it. You need to realize that you're not alone in the world. That there's people you can relate to. That people who do incredible things that had things that might have been unfortunate happen to them.
Yeah, no, it's insane, dude. Like, just to give you like an example, right?
Hmm.
When my grandma died, I was like 18, 19 years old at the time. Uh, my grandma was kind of like the connection between like my uncles and my mom,
Hmm.
you know. So, excuse me, my grandma died because she had diabetic problems.
Oh, I'm so sorry.
No, it's okay. Thank you. When she passed away, kind of like the house that we were living at, it wasn't my grandma's house. It was my grandpa's house, right? But
Okay.
since I already told you, both of them had problems, since I was like, alive. Both of them had like a relationship problem. So what happened was my grandpa sold the house to one of my uncles, right? So my uncle was kind of like the owner of the house, but my uncle never had like a good relationship with my mom. Like they were always like neither my grandpa had a good relationship with my mom, uh, and or my uncle, right? So the only thing that was kind of like connecting us, allowing us to stay in that house, was my grandma, right? Because we had to take care of her. We had to like make sure that like she's good and everything. So when my grandma passed away, that's like immediately that's like a sign for us that we need to get the fuck out because it's not a house, it's not my grandma's house, it's my uncle's house. My uncle never had like a good relationship with my mom. It was really bad. It was fucking bad. It was like a bad relationship with him and with me as well. So we had to get the fuck out, and we had to start from scratch.
So,
So
so when you say bad, like, was it yelling all the time, fighting?
it
Did
was
it
like, yeah.
was it like actual physical fight? Because I know that me and my stepdad physically fought a couple times.
No, no,
Uh,
no. It was not. It was never physical.
mhm.
Thank God. But it was a relationship where like he was making like life hell for us.
Okay.
Like he was making things on his end to make sure that our life was like really bad and miserable, and we had to struggle with things. And so this is like something that has been built for years now. It's not like when I was 18 he started doing it. No, he was having this fucking uh relationship with us since I was like really, really young.
Yeah.
And sometimes it was even related to video games, right? Like for example, uh I really like to I had my console and shit, like my Nintendo 64, my PlayStation 2 and stuff. So I like, my neighbors to come over and play with me, right? So there was this point in my life where like this guy actually locked us in so that I cannot bring people in, right? So I cannot invite people in because I actually had a lock on my door, and so we cannot let people in unless it was authorized with him. Just to give you like an example, right?
Wow.
It was fucking stupid, dude. So I was like, I don't give a fuck. He's like the owner of the house, like whatever, dude. So I, since I still have my grandma, it was fine. But when my grandma passed away, then we needed to, I wouldn't want to live with that shit, dude. You don't want to live like that. That's just like a small example.
Yeah.
So just like we had to move over, we had to start from scratch, paying rent, and now we have this house which we almost like finished paying for, and we're just like remodeling and stuff like that. So
That's
yeah.
awesome. So when you lost your grandma, that was like a staple anchor in your life then. That
Yes,
kind of held everything together. What was that like for you
it
when
was hard, man. It was really difficult because I love my grandma first of all.
yeah.
I spent a lot of my childhood with her, and more than anything, like having to move somewhere else, like starting from scratch, My mom didn't have anything, man. My mom had nothing. So my mom had to do everything she could on her end to make sure that she can bring my sister and myself, with her. Makes us live at least like a normal life, under a roof.
Mhm.
So starting from scratch is really hard, man. It's something that I really don't wish to anybody. When you're just like rolling to a different place without having anything like money, things to keep, like it's really hard, man. It's like you just think about like what's gonna happen next. Like maybe tomorrow we won't have a roof. Maybe tomorrow we won't have something to eat. It's difficult, dude. When you don't have like that um, foundation, so, you know that when parents help you, like they give you like a house or something, when they move on and stuff like that.
I can't speak from my personal experience yet, but yeah, I kind of understand what you're saying that they normally have something there. I know that for me, when I turned 18, I was pretty much out on my own.
Yeah,
And I did a lot of stuff for like I kind of started from scratch. I ended up
yeah,
paying for my own place, working. I remember one time getting mono and I couldn't work for like 2 months, and I remember eating ramen noodles for like
yeah,
six because I
yeah.
couldn't afford
Ex-
anything.
exactly, bro. That's exactly the same. So starting from scratch is difficult, but you figured out a way. You find out what to do, how to live, and uh, how to push forward to that. But yeah, my example was, sometimes like your dad is like, hey, you can have this car. Even
Yeah.
if they just give you a fucking car, it's like huge,
Oh
right? It's
yeah.
like a huge thing that you don't have by yourself. So that's my example. We had nothing, so we had to move on, and like we have to like figure it out, what to do and how to, you know, push forward without having anything.
Yeah, that sounds really difficult. So you moved when you were 18, 19?
Yeah, around 19 years old,
So
18 years
you
old.
must
Yeah.
have been just starting school then for
Yeah.
college, right?
Yeah, I was going to school. Unfortunately, like my school was not really that good.
Hmm.
Like I was going to a school where like I had the afternoon shift.
Hmm.
So the way that I see things is the way that I work and my ethic is when I go to this place, I need to have like an objective.
Yeah.
So for example, right, if I go to work, I gotta make sure that I cover my shift. I am there for working, and I can have fun. I can chill around, but I want to make sure that I get my work done. I need to make sure that my schedule is done. So the same thing was happening with school. I was going to school, and then I arrived to school. I had like 2 hours of school or something, and then the teachers came and they're like, "Okay, guys, so your teacher didn't arrive, so you guys have 4 free hours to do whatever the fuck you want." And I'm like, "Bro, 4 hours, bro? Like, what am I gonna do in that time? I'll much rather just go back home and just fucking play video games." And then I didn't come back. So I kind of like I struggle a lot with school because I felt like it was like a waste of resources, a waste of my time. So when I was not in school, I came back home, I played video games, and then I never came back to school. So I kind of dropped school because of it because I didn't like that system. Maybe if I studied in a different place, it would have been better. But at that moment in time, that's the only option that I had because it was like government thing. It was the only financial option that we had. So yeah, I don't know if that answers your question.
No, it definitely does. So, looking at the school aspect, and you had already mentioned that video games were kind of this place to escape from. What was school like when you were growing up?
When I was really young, I'm a really nice guy. Like I'm a really funny. I never had problems with like social stuff. No one never knew that I was like playing video games. Like no one, dude. Like I was one of those guys that like I'm like super cool and really nice. That just back then, gamers were seen as nerds. You're
Yeah.
like, oh, you're the fucking nerd and shit. Like, and nerds were like seeing at this guy who like stays in a corner, doesn't have any social skills, they just like are really shy and stuff like that. So I was not like that. I was completely opposite like that. I was like a funny guy. I was able to talk with everybody. I was like super cool. So in general, like school was fine. Like I had my friends. Of course, I had some friends that play video games themselves. They had their consoles and stuff. So there was like a topic that we can relate to and we can talk about that stuff. But yeah, it was really nice. I liked it a lot. It was fine. When I was, during that 19-year old period, the school that I was going to was like, GG, dude. I would much rather just go back home and just playing video games. So yeah.
So, a common thing that I've noticed a lot of times with gamers who play video games, especially starting out young, is they eventually start to play more video games and hang out in social situations. That doesn't sound like it was the case for you, really.
I think in general, like even though I was really friendly and everything, yeah, I like to stay home and play video games.
Okay.
But no one knew about that. Like I could just say like, yo, I don't want to go because I have to do this or whatever. Like, I would much rather just stay home and play video games because that's what I love.
Mhm.
But in general, like no one say anything because no one knew what I was doing, right? So I was cool in I was cool in school, and then when I go back home, I just play video games like all the time. That's pretty much it.
Okay, that makes a lot of sense there. Like you were able to get along with everyone, but you'd much rather just kind of not
Exactly. Yeah,
deal with
just rather
people.
just play. Yeah,
Yeah.
correct.
I when I was growing up, I actually played a ton of video games. I was not the cool person. I was the person who didn't even tell people I played Dungeons and Dragons because that was
Yeah.
so uncool that you were not gonna have a fun time. So
Yeah, it's fine. It's okay. I have people that were like that
yeah.
on my like I have people that were obviously one of those people, and I was talking to them. I was like, you know, I was a guy that I will treat people how I don't want to be treated.
Mhm.
If that makes any sense, right?
Yeah.
So I see my friends, I see people like making fun of those people that play like board games, or like they're really open with the nerdy stuff, right?
Yeah.
And I was talking to them. I was like, hey, you leave him alone. Let's just fucking. I was chilling with them. I was like having fun because I can relate to them with that, right?
Mhm.
I play video games myself, but no one never knew. But I knew, but I had something to relate with, so I was defending them in a way. Like I was like, being like someone that's cool, talking to them. So that was really, really good. I think I always have that mentality of like being able to treat everybody with respect and just treat everybody with like how I don't want to be treated. So
I think that's really good, and I think more people should get on that
yeah,
train.
yeah.
Looking at the parent dynamic with school, I know that when I went to school, it was actually more of a norm if your parents weren't together than if they were. Like the people whose parents were actually together, that was definitely more of an abnormal situation. Was that the same for you? Like I imagine you had school events that you would go to. Um, were you more part of the norm or the
Like what do you mean? Like
like
going to
yeah, like having friends and stuff over and they would ask you like, hey, where's did they ever ask you like where's your dad or what happened to your
oh
dad? What was that like?
yeah, they always ask me like stuff like that, but during some of my events, one of my uncles,
Hmm.
the uncle that's really close to my family, um he 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 on the same school that I was going up when I was growing up. I also had my cousin going there, so when there was like parent events, he was going for her and he was going for me as well. So it was kind of like two birds with one stone.
Yeah.
And when people ask me, what's happening with my dad, well, I'm like, yeah, he's like my dad. That's pretty much what I said. Like he's like my dad.
Okay.
So yeah, it was never like really really a problem. It was never like something that like it was like super super rough for me. But I would say like I learned how to deal with it because I had the option. I had
Hmm.
the option.
That's your uncle sounds like a great figure in your life. Is he still around?
Yeah, yeah. His name is Jesus Lopez, and he lives in the United States.
Okay.
He has his family there, and every time I have the chance to see him, I go there, and he sometimes visits us as well with my aunt. So yeah, he had like a huge impact in terms of like father figure when I was growing up, because I can rely to him. I can always rely on him, if that makes any sense. Like he's someone that can always rely on, whatever happens. Like if I call him, like he will do everything he can to help me in that scenario. He's one of those guys.
Okay, so you obviously are somewhat of a I would say a famous figure, at least in the bubble of esports, right? Like people
Yeah,
know you. You're definitely way more known than random people who play video games.
yeah, yeah.
When you started to become uh, famous, was it a big deal? Did people start reaching out to you? Did you start to notice that? Because sometimes when people start to get some level of fame, they get reached out by family members. They get reached out to by other things. I know some individuals who have been asked for money before, and I know you supported your family, but did you have other family who ever reached out and was like, "Can you support us too?"
Most of the time, like I always try to keep this on the low key,
Hmm.
so none of my friends know. At least I don't think they know. Of course, there's people that know, but
Yeah.
like I try to keep this as low key as possible because I was just like trying to make sure that my family's not attacked and stuff like that. You feel me?
Yeah.
So of course there's gonna be people that ask for money, but it isn't like a big deal. It wasn't like that much of an issue, to be honest. But yeah, just to answer your question, yeah, we were trying to keep this as low key as possible, and the less people know, the better, in my opinion.
Okay. So I remember watching a video where you said that getting into Overwatch League has opened up a tremendous amount of doors for you. How did it open up doors? What were some of those doors that it opened up?
I think in general, like it helped me during like I am 27, right? And since I have people under me that rely on me, in this case, my mom and my sister, it helps me immensely financially, right? Being able to like say, hey, you know what, sister, like you can study in whatever school you want. Just focus on school. I will back you up. I will give you the help that I was never given to me. For my mom, I I don't want her to be working for someone, right? I don't want her to be like the dog of someone else. So I just want to make sure that she stays home, does some other things, takes care of my sister, right, growing up, so that she doesn't like deviate as much as I did, right? So being able to being able to do those two things for me, it's like insane. It's like huge, because those two things are like when I'm like my mom's age, I don't want to be working for someone. I want to be like my own boss. I want to make sure that I can take care of myself, and I don't rely on someone on top of me to like be successful, right? So that's huge. Second, I want to make sure that my sister has like whatever she wants to do in life, whatever she wants to fucking study, like I want her to be able to accomplish that goal, which is something that that option was never given to me, and I think that's like another huge thing. So, in general, those are the most important things for me in terms of like opening doors, right? It gives me those options to be able to do that with my family, and I think that's like my goal for me.
Okay. So how much younger is your sister than you?
She's 10 years younger than me.
Okay, so that's quite a bit of an age gap there.
Yeah,
So you're really trying to get in there and make sure she had all of the things that you didn't have. You're kind of actually you're functionally replacing your father for her. You're trying to be that father figure there who is going to provide as much as you can for the household.
pretty much. Yeah, I mean, since I'm from Mexico, like I am not used to like a fancy life. I don't need like fancy things to survive. I'm really fucking chill. Like I don't need like really expensive. I don't need my Gucci, dude. I don't need like my G's. I have a pair of Jesus actually, but it's not
I
like.
don't even know what those are, so I'm not even gonna. Are those
So
shoes?
yeah, it's like shoes. Like if you ask Sinatra about it, like he will tell you everything about shoes, dude. But like more than anything, I bought them because during like that area that I was at, like the league, the players, like everything, I bought them because of that. But like in general, I don't need them. I'm a really chill guy. I don't need a lot to like be happy. So I'm able to like deviate a lot of my resources that I have to those two things that I was talking to you about.
Hmm. I guess that brings me down to my next question. You're not with San Francisco Shock anymore. Um,
Hmm.
are you worried?
I am worried. It creates like this. It is stressful. It's like, I mean, you're almost my age, right?
Yeah.
And you had a job before, and when you don't have a job anymore, it's like, what am I gonna do next? Like, am I gonna run out of money? Like, you start like, asking all those things.
Hmm.
So of course, I am worried. I am stressed about it. So what am I doing? I'm trying to like figure it out how to try to get back to like a comfortable scenario, right? Like somewhere where I can feel comfortable. So what I'm doing now is again, I'm streaming, which that generates some sort of revenue for me. I'm currently playing with a team called Goats, the famous Goats team, and they have no salary or anything, but I'm able to like still play the game, still practice. I just want to scrim. I just want to get back into it, right? I want to practice, and then I'm also able to like teach them a lot because there's like a tier 3 team. They don't know a lot about like strategy and stuff like that, and I learned a lot from, and specifically from Krusty, because even though Krusty never really coached me, because Super was playing at the time, I was able to like learn a lot just by hearing him and watching him, because I was going to practice almost every day.
Yeah.
So I was able to like absorb as much information that I could, and I learned a lot. So yeah, that yes, of course I'm worried, but I'm working towards like being able to go back to like a comfortable scenario where I'm able to like keep those two things going if possible. The two things that I mentioned to you.
Yeah. So you mentioned going into practice every day. Was that a requirement or something you did because you wanted to always improve?
No, it was never a requirement. It was something that I did for myself, and was something that the only thing that bothered me, to be honest, was the fact that I was not screaming. That was like a huge thing. Like not being able to scream for so long is like, ugh, it feels bad because I have been screaming since the game was released, like since day one, pretty much with Sody Pop and then Immortals and then San Francisco Shock. I've been screaming like really consistently. So the fact that I have been screaming for like months, it feels bad, dude. Like I don't know, as a player, it doesn't feel that good to don't scream. You can definitely like go by and don't scream, but like screaming is such a huge thing. So even though I was not screaming, I was like, seeing what Krusty was saying, seeing what my coaches were saying, trying to get as much, information as possible, so I can like at least some way somehow stay relevant with the meta. If that makes any sense.
Let's goats all day now,
Yeah.
right?
No, it's goats is good, but like it's being like people know how to play against
Yeah.
goats now. Like, so yeah, that's just how it is.
Yeah. So looking at that and kind of that fear that's happening, it kind of takes you. Does it remind you a little bit of when you had to quit school?
A little bit, yeah. I have like this gap of like I don't know what's gonna happen next. It's like, yeah, it reminds me of that. It's like, fuck. Good thing is I did what a good adult should do, which is save money. I save a lot of money. I have been investing my money on my house, so I did like the smart thing.
I'm very happy that you said that.
Yeah,
Whenever someone would ask me like what should we do, and I would always tell people if you're in esports, you should save or invest a significant portion of your money. That should
yeah,
be because it's a job field that is not necessarily stable. And so, the very least, you want some sort of emergency fund in case you end up becoming a free agent or you end up
yeah.
in contract because that's how contracts work. That is not just for esports, by the way.
It's just in
Because
general.
it's if you're doing contract work anywhere, you should do the same thing. And I know that I do it for mental health because my counseling firm's all based on contracts, and so every year comes up, you're like, am I gonna be re-signed for next year?
Yeah, yeah,
So
I know. I know, man. But yeah, I pretty much did that. I save money. I investing a lot of money that I have not have saved. I have invested into my house, so I have enough money to like just don't worry about that for the next couple of like months. But of course, uh, I need to keep on going, right? I need to like find a way how I can like use what I have as a weapon to like being able to move onwards.
I think that's where Goat starts to come in here. So you ended up quitting school. Probably a lot of it had to do with the fact that you thought it was pointless, and then you were starting to get more into looking at professional gaming, right?
Yeah, yeah. Like in general, not professional gaming to be honest, because since I was not doing well in school, like that was not my thing, and we were struggling. My mom, there was a moment where my mom lost a job, so we had no job and we were paying for rent, right? We were paying for the house, so it's like I was kind of like I needed to do something. I needed to like fucking do something to being able to eat. This is I don't know. You watched the Overwatch
I
League
did. I did.
video?
It was like
Yes.
a 2 minute video or something like that. I felt like it did not give you a sufficient amount of time to describe this story.
Yeah, exactly. So when my mom lost her job, it was like an unfair scenario, but she lost her job and she has never worked since then. I think I was like around 20, 21 years old, I think, when that was happening. So I had to like find a way to like make money, right? Because we were not able to eat like
Yeah.
properly. We were paying the home that we were living at. So it's like there's like a lot of things that are coming towards you, and like you had the homeowners like shouting at you on the front door because they want their money, right? So I had to like do something about it. So what I did first is I work an office job as a tech support for like 6 to 8 months or something, which that was fine. And then one of my neighbors, a really good friend of mine, he offered me an option to work for video editing and recording, like video recording. So the way that it worked is like he was doing like wedding and 50-year-old party recordings. I don't know if you're familiar with that, where there's like a wedding and there's like a
Oh
group of
yeah.
people that record your wedding,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Yeah, so I was doing that stuff for like 2 years, which it was good. It was really nice. The money was good and everything. The problem was like um, there was like certain periods of time where there was no work, It was like
So you had like it was like a seasonal job functionally. You had like
e-
large parts where you're working a ton, and then other parts where you're just not working at all.
exactly, yeah, yeah. So that was really bad. I feel that that was really bad. It was really inconsistent. So after those 2 years, I learned a lot though. I learned a lot. I learned how to like edit videos and like record, like take pictures at a really good level. And then after that, I went back to like that tech support job. I stayed there for like two years, and then after those 2 years, that's when Overwatch came out and the whole like Sody Pop Immortals thing happened. The thing is just like during that time, should we be talking about this already? Like, is that
We're
something?
gonna jump back and forth. We're good.
Okay, so
You
when
go
I
where it
was
feels natural.
yeah, all right, perfect. So I'm just like literally telling you my story,
Yeah.
pretty much like how it works. So after those 2 years of working that place, during that time, uh, Overwatch came out, and then the Sody Pop thing happened. We had really good success with Sody Pop. Like within the second week of being a team, I think we finished. We were on the finals on a Gosu Gamers Weekly. Back then, Gosu Gamers was like a weekly tournament that they had, like, which it was casted by CP and Hex as well, like hexagrams.
Yep.
So back then, like the second week that we were a team and we played in that tournament, we landed on the finals and we were playing against like Seagull. Like it was Luminosity, which had like Seagull, God, Spooks. I don't remember the rest of the team. I don't remember the rest of the roster, but it was Seagull, right? Like it was like
It was a big
delaying
deal for you.
himself. It was a big deal, dude. Like we were playing against a sponsor team. We got shit on. Like we got fucking destroyed by them at the finals. But hold on, but we got it was one of those shit ons where like, bro, it felt so good because we're able to like we were able to like compete against them, and we are able to like share the stage against someone that's actually doing this for a living, right?
Hmm.
So when that happened, that ring a bell. I mean, I was like, we actually have potential. Like we can actually do this stuff. So after that happened, like we keep on playing, and then we qualify for a LAN, and we were like the only on-sign team at that time. So we got reached by a couple orcs, and in that case, Immortals was one of them, and that's when we signed with them, and that's when everything changed.
Everything changed for you. So looking back, you quit school, right? You're like, I'm done with this. You're working. Was it comfortable living, or was it still pretty tight?
One. When I
So,
was
so when your mom had lost her job and you were working to try to support the entire family right now, doing different jobs between video editing or working at the IT, was it still tight? Like, was money still tight? Was it still an issue, or were you doing pretty good?
no, I think for living in Mexico, I was doing fine. We are doing fine. Like we didn't have the money to like buy expensive stuff or like do fancy stuff, but we were having enough money so that we don't have to deal with the rent,
Hmm.
we don't have to deal with the food. So we were having money to like go buy, right? But it was not enough money for me to tell my sister, "Hey, where you want to go to
Yeah.
study?" No, it wasn't. So
So was there a point where your mom thought about going back to work?
yeah, yeah, she tried. She tried to go back to work. She actually the last thing that she tried to do, she was doing like imagine Uber,
Hmm.
but it's not Uber. It's more like you see the cab on the street and then you call them. You're like, hey, yo, pick
So
me up.
so it's like taxi cabs.
Yeah,
This
taxi cab,
this
exactly. Yeah,
old school thing that no one knows about because Uber and Lyft exist now.
yeah, took over. Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. Uber took over. So yeah, she was doing that, but she was doing really well. But during the first month, she actually got robbed. So when she got robbed, she got really scared, and she was like, "Fuck it, dude, I don't want to deal with that shit." And I told him like, "Yeah, fuck that shit. Like, you know, you don't want to." You don't want to be like that. What if that guy fucking like stabs you or fucking kills you? Like, you don't want to. You don't. I don't want my mom to deal with that shit, right? So I was like, yeah, fuck it, dude. Like, let that shit go. But yeah, she tried to go back, but it was she struggled a lot. She struggled to go back to work. And that's just like like an example.
Yeah. So
Just to
is that something that's common?
yeah, it's Mexico, man. Like Mexico, like
I've never been able to go to Mexico, so that's why I'm asking. Not
yeah,
everyone
yeah,
knows, so.
yeah. There's like so this is how it works, right? Like Mexico, there's like a lot of good places. There's like really beautiful places that you can go. The criminal rates on those areas is really really good,
Hmm.
but the problem is like so you live in California. You have gone to downtown LA, right?
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure.
Yeah.
So when you compare like downtown LA to like Santa Monica or like Burbank,
Hmm.
it's like day and night difference,
Yeah.
right? Like, so it's really similar here. There's gonna be places where it's really nice, it's really chill, but there's gonna be a lot of places where holy fuck, like you don't want to get there at that time of day because something's gonna happen, right? You don't want to be walking during that time with like your fucking watch on. It's like everywhere, man. To be honest, the thing
Not
is just like
Michigan. I'm just letting you know there's certain parts of where I live where you won't see anyone for miles. Like you could literally just go outside and you don't have to worry about locking your doors or locking doors
ex-
is a weird experience. That's not true for everywhere, but
exactly, yeah. So the thing is just like just to give you like the reason why there's more criminal here is because like we our minimal wage is way lower than in the United States.
Mhm.
So a lot of people things are really expensive and the money is not enough. So some of those people find it easier to just rob people for money so that they can survive. So that's or for drugs as well, when people
Yep.
are doing drugs and stuff, that shit's like really fucking expensive. So they don't have a job to sustain that like addiction. So they just do like bad stuff like robbing people and like robbing cars and that kind of stuff. So of course there's it's more common here because of that. But same as scenario as LA downtown, like as long as you're walking on the correct places, you should be good. But yeah,
Have
hopefully that
Have you ever
just
been robbed?
I haven't been robbed.
Okay, so
But
go ahead.
I haven't been robbed because I'm a nerd and I stay indoors all the fucking time. Okay,
Okay,
so
that's true.
but yeah, but I have heard of people that my mom got robbed, and I have heard of people that they just get robbed randomly, and it's like that has never happened to me, but I never go out, so that's why.
So kids, you don't want to get robbed, stay inside. That's
They say
easy.
playing Overwatch, dude. Overwatch comp.
Yeah. So when your mom was robbed, were you scared that wow, I almost lost my mom,
Uh,
or was it more normalized?
it was like more than I saw her and she was like not hurt physically, right?
Mhm.
So it was really good. Most of the times, like robbers, like they don't want to like if they hurt someone, right? If they hurt you or they try to kill you, it's worse for them if they get caught. It's way worse. So if they just try to like steal you, hey, give me your money, and they don't damage you physically, then it's like it's a more of a chill environment. The thing is, just like since my mom already has like more age,
Mhm.
right? She is like she's not like mentally. You do mental health and stuff
Yeah.
like that, right? Like mental stuff.
Oh, I
So
imagine
that
the post traumatic stress disorder that would be followed by that would be, and that's what I was going to ask about next is how did you guys handle that? But yeah, I
yeah,
imagine that was it.
we handle it like really normally. I was like scared for her because I don't want that was just like one scenario, but what if that happens again in the future and maybe she's not that lucky, right?
Yeah.
So we deal with it really well. I was like, yeah, if you don't want to deal with this, like they just fuck it, like because she wanted to stop doing it immediately, and I kind of like help her say like, yeah, fuck it, like don't even think about it. Yeah, we're struggling right now, but just like fuck that shit. Like, what you, it's so bad. Like, you don't want to lose your mom because something stupid. Because a fucking job, dude. Like, you don't want to lose your mom because she's fucking working, bro. Like, it's just fucking stupid, man.
Yeah,
You feel me?
being in your spot, I would have been scared because at that point your grandma was gone, right? Which was really hard on you. Your mom is kind of your mom and your uncle are some of the last parental figures that you actually have in your life that are around you. I could
Yeah.
s- I could see that moment being like just very very hard and very
Yeah,
scary.
yeah, it was scary and everything, but more than anything, I was like really alleviated that it wasn't worse.
Yeah.
I was like, shit, like I'm just happy that I have her, and every day that I have a chance, I like to hug my mom, dude. I just hug her, I kiss her, like I like to like, thank God that she's with me right now because she's helping me, she's helping my sister, like the fact that I am so comfortable here is because like even though she's not working she supports me because I am like the financial support for the family. She like cleans my room, she washes my laundry, she makes my food. So it's like really good. Like I like it a lot, and I appreciate that she's doing that for me at least.
Yeah, I think that's very different than a lot of people in different cultures have a viewpoint of that. The viewpoint of like family and the culture that you have down there, I think is very different than a lot in the states.
Yeah,
It's very much a family organization. You take care of each other. Go into that a little bit. What's it? What have you? Did you notice differences being in the states with the way people interact compared to back home?
yeah, for sure. It's like completely different. But like most of the time, in terms of like similar mom situations. I had the privilege to be able to spend some time with Babyface mom.
Hmm.
Like we went to eat with it was we went to like I think it was like a Chinese restaurant, and uh, Babyface mom kind of like stay a while. She was like in the apartment a lot of the times. And she's like super cool, man. Like she's like a really cool mom, and she's different from my mom 100%, like in terms of personality and the way that she talks to baby and stuff like that. It's like my mom doesn't talk to me like that, so it's like it's two different, like the culture thing is definitely like showing there, right? And that's just like one example, because I also saw Mutt's parents as well,
Hmm.
and super nice, super chill. Like I can definitely relate them more to like my family, I guess, to like my mom. But everybody has a different,
Yeah.
right? Like it doesn't matter where you live, like everybody has a different. It just depends on education and like where you're born and stuff like that.
Yeah, for sure. So one of the things that I noticed, you kind of take a very positive outlook to pretty much everything that has happened. You try to reframe it in a way that you can work with and move forward. How did you have you always been like that, or was there a point where that kind of shifted? What made you be able to take the mentality of this is bad, but I'm going to move on? Because a lot of people are in esports or players, they take it events that happen to them very, very poorly.
Yeah, I think more than anything, how can I explain this? So there's always like an answer. There's always like a way to move forward, and I have been like during my time living here and like during all those experiences and everything. There's always that situation where like uh, you're like, fuck, dude, like what's next? Like I, this is like the worst scenario, right? First thing is someone is having it worse than you at this time. Someone is actually like someone in my scenario that doesn't have a work. That guy doesn't even fucking have a house. That guy doesn't even fucking have food. Like someone always has it worse. So I'm thankful for not being in that situation. Secondly, there's always an option. There's always something that you can do to move forward. If you need some like a financial support, there's like a lot of jobs out there that you can do. Of course, you're not gonna be making millions, but you should be able to survive, dude. As long as you can survive, that should be enough. Like you should be happy with just like waking up and leaving every fucking day of your life, dude. You know, you shouldn't be worrying about holy shit that kid has fucking Gucci shoes, dude, and I don't. Like that shouldn't be a thing, dude. Just be happy with what you have. Be happy that you have a family, people that care about you, people that support you. Be happy, and I think that's it. Like I'm just grateful, dude. I'm grateful with things that um maybe it's because of my age. Like a lot of esports, like you say, a lot of esports worry and they take it completely different. But the fact that I have like responsibilities and my age as well, like it changes my mentality towards those things. So I don't want my sister to see me sad because I don't have a job. Like what is she gonna say? Like how is she gonna perform at school? You feel me? That's gonna create like a stress environment. So I'm much rather be like a chill guy. Like I have this under control, even though I don't. I'm making sure that I get into a comfortable scenario again.
I think that's a really good way to look forward to it. It almost reminds me of someone when they talk about religion, right? And that are you religious at all? Because I know that sometimes religion can play a big part in individuals'
Um,
outlook.
More than anything, like I am not. I was raised as a Catholic. I think is how I say it in English.
Catholic?
Catholic, yeah.
Yeah.
So
It almost sounds like Cadillac when you say
yeah,
My first car was a
yeah,
Cadillac, but
yeah. I'm a
Catholic.
Cadillac, dude. I'm a Cadillac for sure. But I was never like really. I never really embrace it that much. My mom does embrace it like a lot. Like my mom likes to pray. My sister likes to pray as well. I sometimes pray, but sometimes I forget about it. I think like something that I have like think about, in terms of like God and faith and all that stuff. Like when you now that we have the internet, like you can see like the hundreds and thousands of religions. I don't know hundreds of thousands, but like there's a lot of
There's a
religions, right?
lot.
That's a lot. There's a lot of religions, and like, so who do you believe in? Like, it doesn't matter what you do. Like, as long as you have something will always motivate you. Having a religion is good for motivation, right? It's like, oh, my God is gonna help me today, and I'm gonna get that check, and I'm gonna get that raise. God is gonna help me. My God is gonna help me. So it doesn't matter what God you have. Like your God can be your family, bro. Like your God can be your girlfriend. You know, if as long as my girlfriend is with me and my girlfriend is there when I come back, like I should be able to get this under control. Like in my case, my God is my family, right? As long as I have my family with me, as long as they're healthy, as long as they're good, that's the motivation for me to like keep on trying and keep on like grinding and just keep on doing what I'm doing, right? As long as they're comfortable and I'm comfortable, then push should be good.
Mhm. Mention a girlfriend. I do want to sidetrack briefly. I do not think he is referring to an unhealthy attachment, especially with girlfriends. I see some people get unhealthily attached to a significant other. It can be
Oh,
very, very damaging. I know that is not what you're meaning, and people should not take it that way because that is not what he is meaning at all.
no, 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 no. For no, no. It's like it's an example, right? Like
Yeah,
my God can be my dog, something that motivates you and
yeah,
keeps on going, makes you wake up from that bed and say like the motivation can be yourself, bro.
yeah,
Like, bro, I'm gonna wake up today and I'm gonna make myself better today. I'm gonna move forward today. And I'm gonna do it because of myself. Like anything can be your God as long as you have like some sort of excuse to give you motivation, because that's what you need. Like faith, motivation, like all that stuff. That stuff is up here, I think. Everybody thinks it different, right? But
yeah.
that's how I see things.
No, and that's what we're after. We're after kind of like your viewpoint. So bringing up the girlfriends, I know that Overwatch is extremely busy, and because of that, some of the relationships I've seen, some of them can be good, some cannot be good. What's your kind of stance on uh, relationships? Because I know that you worked a lot. I can't imagine that you had time for relationships.
I think in general, like relationships can be like a good thing and a bad thing.
Yeah,
It just depends on. Uh, I think some of these players that are getting in relationships like really young
yeah,
might struggle a little bit more because, especially when it's like I'm gonna be honest with you, right? Like you see like 19-year-old, people who probably they're nerds, right? They're playing video games like I am playing. Like they don't have like, maybe they haven't had like a chance to have a girlfriend before.
hmm
So being on the spotlight and being like, on stage and making this money and like, going to the gym and all that stuff, like you're gonna grab more attention of like, the famous fine girls of the girls. So
or boys.
or boys, yeah,
Yes.
it's fine. It's fine.
Yeah, I'm not.
It's okay. It's completely fine.
Yeah,
So if they get into that, it's easier for them to like land in this like relationship with
yeah,
someone. And when there's like it's a first time experience, it's a first time like you're doing all this stuff, like I'm pretty sure there's gonna be issues with that. That's just like how it is. Like the first time that you're doing something is gonna affect. It's gonna have some sort of impact or affection on whatever you're doing, and that's just like I'm pretty sure there's like a low percentage of people that don't, but I'm pretty sure there's a high percentage of people that will.
yeah.
So it just depends. It's like a case by case basis. I'm pretty sure like the older people in the league that probably have experiences before, they can definitely have like they can deal with this type of stuff like a lot better. But of course, I think it just depends. It's like a case by case basis, in my opinion.
Do you have time for relationships, or do you feel like because I know that you worked a lot. Did you ever make time for that in your life?
I try to. I think in general you can definitely do it, but it has to be like really really minimal. Because like let me just give you an example, right? A relationship to me can be like quote by quote like my family is to me.
Yeah.
So when I'm working, right, when I'm like screaming, if I'm able to talk to my family right after, what does the family do to you? Like what happens when you talk to your family in your case?
Mhm.
If you can tell me, like what
Oh yeah.
happens when you're like, huh?
Yeah. So my family, it's probably more my girlfriend now.
Mhm.
I don't really have a lot of extended family, actually at all. Whereas some people do. I have probably three family members that I actually regularly talk to. My brother, my dad, and my stepmom. Occasionally, these are about the only ones in my family who I actually talk to because of some of the poor relationships I have. Um, Out of those, so four. So my girlfriend too. My girlfriend, I always enjoy telling her about kind of like the things that I go through and I always look forward to sharing my life with her. Um, and I think that
That,
that is exactly it. And like when I was over in California, we had a long conversation. and I was like, listen, there's going to be times where I just don't physically have time to meet with you, and I need to make sure that you're okay with this because you matter to me. We've been working on getting her a job over in LA because she's an engineer. So yeah, I know, right?
That's a fucking power, dude.
Psychology degree, dating an engineer,
That's
something.
that's nice, dude. That's
So
nice.
yeah, so but that's something that we were like, we need to be okay with this. This needs to be something that we're working. But I always want to share my life with her. And then there's other family members where I just don't really want to. I don't get that same feeling, so I don't talk to them as much.
Yeah. So that pretty much like you pretty much just answer my question. So uh, y- in this case, like you don't really need family
Yeah,
because not a lot of people have family, right?
yeah,
But if you find someone, in this case, example, your girlfriend, it can be your girlfriend, it can be like a friend, it can be someone else. But like, you find someone that you can share, your day by day work. I think is beneficial
mhm,
some way somehow, So in this case, it just depends on the case by case
mhm,
basis. Because if you have a girlfriend that is like, she doesn't understand your time, she doesn't understand that you're busy, and she doesn't want to listen to you when you want to actually say something,
yeah.
then that's a no-no, right? That's something that I don't want. So if you have someone that can help you with that, I think
Mhm.
that's perfect.
So are you trying to take the relationship? Are you in a relationship, or are you trying to take that very slow because of your situation?
No, I am currently in a
Oh,
relationship
you
right
are.
now.
Okay,
Yeah, yeah,
congratulations.
yeah. Thank you.
So, when you were growing up, though, you didn't really have a. Did you have relationships, or did you pretty much just focus? Because you mentioned you would rather stay inside, so I don't imagine that led to a lot of opportunities
Nah,
for.
yeah, it didn't. It wasn't. It was. I was not a Casanova. I was not a relationship
I'm
god, to be
surprised,
honest.
kind of like now. I mean, I'm like, wow, this guy talks well. He could hang out with people, but I understand. The whole being inside would
Yeah,
make it hard.
yeah. No, I think one of the main reasons is like there's priorities in everybody's
Yeah,
life. So once I have my priorities set, once my priorities are covered, then I can explore different things. That's how I see it, in my opinion. So, for example, like in this case, like I have a when I was in the league, I was making good money. My mom and sister were fine. So hey, maybe I can like do something else. Maybe I can explore different venues. So I don't know if that makes
yeah, no,
sense.
it makes perfect sense. You make sure to constantly shift your priorities on what you're able to do currently or not.
Correct. That is correct.
Awesome. Getting all this good stuff that no one else has probably ever gotten
Yeah, no,
before.
no one knows, dude.
Yeah, that's so. Nomi is taken. Anyone who's looking, you're out of luck. Sorry. So how did you balance that though? Because I could see it being kind of terrifying. Did you make sure you met someone who had no idea about you or what you did, or was it an old friend, or were you ever worried that um, uh, someone's dating me because of what I do?
I think it's like in general, you need to like talk with the people a lot and like because even though I mostly play video games, I'm a since I have work in the past, I'm able to like detect like kind of like the personality of the person
Hmm.
and kind of like the things that they uh kind of like the way that they think in a way.
Hmm.
So I had to like have like conversations and be able to understand, how how th- uh, how she was going to react to it, if anything. So it's all about like knowing and understanding and reading the person to know if this is gonna work or not. Because if you have someone that's like, so you tell the person, yeah, I won't have time, but you have someone that is telling you like to message you like every hour or something, then that's a no-no
Yeah.
immediately. That's like a red flag, right? So you need to have like this list of flags where like, you know this work, this work, this work, this work, this work, and then there we go. So I think that's kind of like an easy example to put it,
No,
but it takes time. It takes like a lot of time.
when I work with people on relationships, actually, I always tell them you need to write out a list of red flags. And you need to write this down so that way you look at it later and you don't lie to yourself. That's normally why I tell people to write out, because people, when they see something and like someone that they really like, a lot of times they will bend those flags and try to hide them.
Yeah, yeah,
So
yeah.
I always recommend people to kind of write it out. But your girlfriend, did she know that you were a video gamer right away, or did you wait to kind of like tell? Like, I don't imagine that's like a first date. Like, hey, I'm a professional video gamer.
Yeah, no,
I
no,
don't know if that's
no, no, no. She knew, but it was like in a way she does something that is related to gaming, but it's not
okay.
like at all like like pro gaming or something like that. She does work in the gaming industry, but it's not like How can I say it? It's not really similar, if that
Okay.
makes any sense. It's like two completely different things.
Okay. Awesome. I'm happy that you seem to be a good example for relationships. That makes me happy for the future
Yeah,
of.
it's not easy, dude. It's not easy, and a lot of people, a lot of like, I mean, when people are like 19, 20, 21 years old, bro, like they're develop. I don't know how to say it
Their,
in
their
English,
brain
man.
is their brain is not fully developed. Your brain doesn't stop fully developing. Just an FYI till you're 25, right around there.
Yeah,
That's when.
yeah. So they're like they're like developing and stuff, and of course they want to like they just want to meet, they want to talk to a girl or to a guy, like
Yeah.
you just want to do it because that's just like nature, man. That's like that's how animals work, and we're animals as well. Like that's how the world moves. You have to like interact with the other side of the species, you feel me?
Yeah, I feel you.
So so you of course denying players that, it's understandable because they have to focus, but as a player, like they need some sort of advice to tell them, like, what's going on here, like maybe you can do this, but make sure that with some sort of advice, I'm pretty sure it's really doable. If there's some sort of like some people that can monitor that, and like they can help them understand if that is good or not for what they're doing, I think it's good, man.
Yeah.
Because it's just rough, man. It's difficult, man. It's
I,
just
I,
difficult.
f- I fully agree 100% with that. I think that relationships are doable, and I feel like that's an experience that you need to have in order to improve upon it. That's not something that you can just get good at. But I do think having someone there to help you and answer questions, who has more experience or is older and has life experience, is very very useful in the esports scene in order for making sure that players have some sort of stability in their lives.
Yeah, and let me tell you something. Like I have talked with teammates of mine where they had questions about that, and I am more than happy to help them. Like
Hmm.
it's like some of my players, like they trust me enough to be able for them to talk to them about it, and I love to talk to them about it because, like you say, I'm someone older, someone that has experienced more things, so it's easier for me to help them. It's I'm like their older brother or like their dad.
Yeah.
So it's that's for sure. As long as they have some sort of guidance, I'm pretty sure it's doable.
You mentioned my players, which I think is awesome because you're kind of taking this father figure approach, which I personally like a lot. I think it's cool thinking about Dad Nomy, which is
Yeah.
a new name probably.
Yeah.
Looking at that, have you ever thought about transitioning or moving into being a coach?
Uh, Not really. To be honest, when during this whole tryout process,
Hmm.
I was offered a tryout for a coaching position, but I denied it because, like I said, I still believe in my play. I still think I can play, mechanically. I'm mechanically good. So as long as I can still play that, I would much rather compete on stage if I can. I would much rather just like still scream, still practice because I love that. That's
Hmm.
something that it's on my heart. Like screaming, practicing, that competitive environment is something that I love.
Hmm.
But I think in general, like uh, now that I'm talking to you, like now that I talk to more people, and like especially with goats as well, like I know a lot, dude. Like I know a lot about the game. I know a lot about life, and I think I can be like a really good coach. Honestly, like just it's actually unreal, dude. Like I see myself just doing that. I can definitely do it. I can definitely have the potential to be like someone that can definitely help you improve. Like maybe I can talk to players. I can like tell them how to play the game better. Like there's a lot of things that I can definitely do. So I can definitely explore that option. I will definitely see what happens because it's something that the more times goes on, I think I could definitely qualify to be like something, a competent coach.
Yeah. Is it something you think you'd enjoy? Because I mean, when I hear you talk, I'm thinking, wow, he seems very emotionally stable, which I think is huge. He's able to keep himself grounded. You can detach yourself from situations. You can take negatives and twist them into positives, or find ways to move forward or move past that. And I see that, and I think, wow, this guy from an emotional mentality level is could be an amazing coach. Is it something that you would get that same passion and enjoyment from? You think? Because I hear you about taking care of your mom and your sister, and I think, wow, he would be really really good.
I think so. Honestly, like I think I will enjoy it. I think it's something that I'm gonna give you like a quick example why I think I will. During my time with the shock, especially when I was in the bench, just like watching them play. Uh, like every time they come from stage and I see them, like I'm like, I want to help them. I want to like, at that time, like during that time when we're the dugout, like Krusty needs to take over. Krusty needs to
Yeah.
talk. Like Junk Buck, 9K, Harsha, they needed to like talk more and like help them. Figure out what to do. But me as a player, like what I was doing, I was like, maybe like giving them like a back rub or like, just being with them. Like, hey, I'm here for you, brother. Like, I know it's not that much, but it gives me like it felt like family, dude. Like I think when you get a point where like you feel like family, it's really really good. It's like you care about them as if they were like uh you go into like a bad spot, like when you get care about people at that level, I think that's when it gets like really really good. It's like holy fuck. I have Nomy there that's gonna like make me laugh, that's gonna help me with this or help me with that. If I'm able to like accomplish that on a player, I think that's amazing. That's like I think that's what you want to accomplish as someone that helps, a team being better. You always want to have like that give them that source of like confidence and like warmth and like, oh, he will take care of me during the worst of the worst. So I think I could definitely do that, man. I think I could definitely do it, and I'm happy to do it. Like, when I was with the Shark, I was happy, man. I was just happy being a part of the team, just having fun with them, making them laugh. Like that was just like a whole, like a beautiful experience in my opinion, and something that I will never forget.
Yeah, I think that like hearing you talk about it and the emotion and the passion, it almost like brings me to tears. I'm hearing this and I'm like, oh my god, I just want to hug you, man. You're like
Yeah, bro, it was good,
amazing.
man. It was really fucking good, man. I really like all of them, and it was great. It was great. It was a good time.
Whew. And I think that is a good point to actually end the episode. I think that that is a very natural ending to that lovable moment. And I always like to end on kind of like a good note. Before we head out, do you have any shoutouts that you would like to give?
Uh, well, shout out to like all the people that have stayed, supported me, and for everybody that has to leave, I completely understand. Even though the shock performance wasn't as expected from season one, I think uh, you know I kept like a lot of really good following from people that it's just amazing, man. What people have told me, what people have messaged me, and all the support. Like I never thought I will actually reach this level of support with like having fans and stuff like that. So I just want to thank them for just like liking my tweets, going to my Twitch, like just doing all the small stuff. Like it really really matters, especially now because I'm kind of like climbing back up with the
Mhm.
goats and like screaming again and like practicing again. So it really really helps. So I just want to thank everybody that has been there for me until now, and the new ones and the old ones. It's like perfect, and everybody that has helped me be like a better player. My coaching staff like Sefi, Lead RC, Harsha, Krusty, 9K, Junkbug. Uh, Trying to remember. Hopefully, I don't forget anybody. But yeah, everybody that was working like Chris as well uh, on the management, on Chuck, management, coaching. All those guys were like amazing. So I just like Mike H as well. So yeah, I just love everybody. So yeah, hopefully that's a shout out, I guess. Fuck.
And it's okay. It's okay. It's about. Thank you, everyone. I hope that you enjoyed this episode. And that's the end.
Thank you, Billy. See you guys next time.
Hey guys, I want to thank you for making it to the end of this video. I know that this content is a longer format specifically to showcase a more emotional side of people involved in esports. I think it's really important that we stay empathetic and show support to all of my guests that are willing to come onto this show. Sometimes they share some very heartfelt things that they've never shared with anyone else before. I think it's important that they understand that we support them and that this is a safe experience to do. This will show others that coming on the show is something that they can also do in order to share with all of us so we better understand esports as a whole and the people who are involved in it. Finally, if you enjoy this content as much as I do making it, I would encourage you to check out my Patreon that I have created. This will help you to support equipment upgrades, future content, exclusive content, and my general ability to drink an overabundant amount of coffee. I make sure to include some tiers that allow you to support this channel and give rewards anywhere from receiving my content early to being able to know the guest early and submit questions for exclusive videos. So I hope you check it out. I hope you have a wonderful day.